My fiancé tried to steal the equity from my house while I was on a business trip. Hey Reddit, so I'm Ethan, 31, and I'm pretty sure I'm about to lose my mind. I've always been the responsible one in my family, the good son. My dad passed away a few years ago, and I've been trying to live up to his memory ever since, making him proud. I busted my ass to buy my own house, no small feat these days. Small inheritance plus years of scrimping and saving equals finally having my own place. Met this amazing girl, Sarah. Whirlwind romance, the whole 9 yards. Thought she was the one. Now I think she was just after my house. Everything seemed perfect, too perfect maybe. She started asking a lot of questions about my finances, which I brushed off as normal couple stuff. But now, I don't know what to think. Something feels really off. Am I overreacting, or is this about to become a total nightmare? So, I'm in Dallas for a conference, important stuff for my job, and I get this notification from my bank. Suspicious activity on your account. My stomach dropped. I click on it, and it's a notification for a large withdrawal attempt on my home equity line of credit. Like almost all of it. I'm talking enough to gut my kitchen and add that fancy master suite Sarah's been joking about. But here's the kicker, the signature on the withdrawal slip. It looks exactly like Sarah's. I stared at the grainy image on my phone, the blood draining from my face. No way, this couldn't be happening. I felt this wave of nausea, like I was going to be sick right there in the hotel lobby. I called the bank immediately. They confirmed the attempt, thankfully it was flagged, and they sent me a copy of the slip. I zoomed in. Her loopy S, the way she dots her I with a little circle, it was her signature. My hands started shaking. I felt like I couldn't breathe. This was my house. The one place I felt safe, the one thing I'd worked so hard for. And she tried to take it from me. While I was away, I called her, of course. It went straight to voicemail. I texted, nothing. I booked the first flight home, a churning pit of dread in my stomach the entire flight. The whole way home, I kept replaying our conversations in my head, looking for clues, for anything that would make this make sense. How could I have been so blind? How could I have let her get so close? I felt like a complete idiot. I landed and raced home, practically breaking the speed limit. I needed to see her face, needed to hear her explanation, even though a terrifying part of me already knew the truth. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was betrayal. Okay, so I get home, heart pounding, practically kicking the door down. Sarah's there, all smiles and sunshine like nothing's wrong. Hey honey, you're back early. She rushes over to hug me, but I pull away. I could barely look at her. I just held up my phone, showing her the withdrawal slip. What is this? My voice was shaking, the smile melted off her face. She burst into tears, full-on sobbing. Ethan, where did you get that? Someone's trying to frame me, they're trying to ruin us. Frame her? Ruin us? My head was spinning. Sarah, it's your signature, it's my house, what the hell is going on? I would never do that to you, she wailed, clutching at my arm. You know I love you, why would you even think I'd do something like this? You're being so accusatory. Accusatory? I just showed her proof she tried to steal from me. My mom called right then, probably wondering why I was back so early. Sarah grabbed my phone before I could answer, hitting decline. Let's not drag your mother into this, she said, her voice all sweet and reasonable now. The rapid shift was unsettling. Drag her into this? You tried to drain my equity, Sarah. Of course I'm telling my family. I yelled, snatching my phone back. I called my mom back, explained everything. Fast. Sarah was pacing, muttering about how I was overreacting. My mom's response. Oh, Ethan, honey, I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. Sarah would never do something like that. You probably just upset her being away so much. She's probably just stressed about the wedding planning. The wedding planning. Are you kidding me? I saw red. Mom, she tried to steal from me. How can you defend her? Don't be dramatic, Ethan, she sighed. Sarah's a lovely girl. I'm sure she can explain everything. Just calm down and talk to her. You're being too emotional. Too emotional, too emotional. My own mother was gaslighting me, defending the woman who tried to rob me. Right then, standing in my living room, Sarah sobbing fake tears in the background, my mom dismissing my very real concerns, that's when I knew. This wasn't normal. This wasn't just a fight. This was toxic. I hung up on my mother. I couldn't even talk. I turned to Sarah, get out. My voice was cold, empty. The shock on her face was almost comical, almost. What? She whispered. Get out of my house. That's where we're at, Reddit. I'm sitting here alone, in the house I worked my ass off for, feeling like I'm losing my mind. My own family is against me. What the actual F? What do I do now? Help. A week later, and things have gone from bad to WTF. Sarah's gone, thank God, but the fallout it's like a nuclear bomb went off in my life. First, my mom called not to apologize for basically calling me crazy, but to tell me I'm throwing away a good thing and that I need to apologize to Sarah. Apologize. For what? For catching her trying to steal my house. Then her parents showed up at my door. Her dad, this big, imposing guy who always gave me the creeps, started yelling at me about how I'd embarrassed Sarah and ruined her reputation. He actually threatened me. Said I'd regret this. I stood my ground, told him to get off my property, but it was terrifying. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely unlock the door to get back inside. Then came the aunts and uncles. The phone calls, the texts. Ethan, we're so disappointed in you. Sarah's such a sweet girl, are you sure you didn't misunderstand? You need to think about your future, starting a family. Sarah would have made a wonderful mother. A wonderful mother who steals from her fiance. I'm losing it. This morning my Aunt Susan, the queen of family gossip, called and told me Sarah's story is all over town. Apparently I'm the villain. I'm the controlling, jealous boyfriend who drove poor, sweet Sarah to a breaking point. She confessed to borrowing, claiming she was desperate because I wouldn't give her access to my accounts, and she needed money for her sick mother, who is not sick, by the way. I am officially the family pariah. My job is suffering, I can't concentrate. I'm snapping at coworkers, I've barely slept. I feel like I'm constantly looking over my shoulder. This whole thing is consuming my life. I'm starting to think I actually am crazy. Maybe I did imagine the whole thing. No, I saw the signature, I saw the look on her face, I know what I saw. I talked to Maya, my best friend since childhood. She's an accountant, thankfully, so she gets it. She listened to my whole rant, the crazy family drama, the threats, the public shaming. And then she said something that finally snapped me out of it. Ethan, she said, this isn't about Sarah anymore. This is about protecting yourself. You need to fight back. Fight back. Yes, that's what I need to do. I need to stop being the responsible one, the good son who just takes it. I need to protect what's mine. I need a lawyer. I need to document everything. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. This is war. I was a mess, guys, seriously. Couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't focus at work. I was starting to doubt my own sanity. So I went to see Maya. We've been friends since kindergarten, and she's always been the level-headed one. Plus, she's an accountant, so I figured she'd at least understand the financial side of this whole nightmare. I was hesitant to even talk about it at first. I felt so ashamed, so stupid. Like I'd brought this all on myself. I started rambling, barely making sense. Maya, I don't know what to do. My family thinks I'm crazy. Sarah's telling everyone I'm abusive. I showed them the proof, the withdrawal slip, her signature, everything. But they don't believe me. They think I'm overreacting, even my mom. Maya just listened patiently while I spilled everything. The bank incident, Sarah's tears, my mom's dismissal, her parents' threats, the whole twisted saga. By the time I was finished, I was practically hyperventilating. Her reaction wasn't what I expected. No, oh Ethan, I'm so sorry. No platitudes, just pure, unadulterated shock. Her eyes were wide, her jaw dropped. Ethan, she said slowly, this is textbook financial abuse. Financial abuse. Those words hit me like a ton of bricks. I hadn't even considered that. I thought I was just dealing with a crazy ex. Think about it, she continued. The constant questions about your finances, the pressure for a quick wedding and joint accounts, the suggestions to remodel using your equity, it's all a pattern. She was isolating you from your family and friends so you wouldn't have anyone to turn to. She was trying to control your finances, to make you dependent on her. And now, she's playing the victim, turning everyone against you. Suddenly, everything clicked. It was like a fog had lifted from my brain. All the little things, the red flags I'd ignored, they all made sense now. The jokes about upgrading the kitchen, the comments about how I needed to loosen up with my money, the subtle digs about my old-fashioned values. It wasn't just about the money, it was about control. Your dad would be furious, Maya said, her voice firm. He always taught you to be smart with your money, to protect yourself. He wouldn't want you to let anyone take advantage of you, not even someone you love. That's when I lost it. Tears started streaming down my face. Not tears of sadness, but tears of relief. Finally, someone saw it, someone understood, someone validated what I was going through. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't overreacting. I was being manipulated. What do I do? I asked, my voice choked with emotion. First, Maya said, you document everything. Every conversation, every text, every email, keep a journal. Gather any financial records you can. And then, she paused, her eyes hardening, you get a lawyer, you fight back. Fight back. Those two words became my mantra. For the first time since this whole nightmare began, I felt a flicker of hope. I wasn't alone. I had someone in my corner. And I was finally ready to protect myself. So I'm sitting at my desk, trying to focus on work, but my head's a mess. I'm still reeling from the family drama, the accusations, the whole Sarah-shaped tornado ripping through my life. I decide to finally clean out my bedside table drawer, the one that's become a catch-all for random junk. And that's when I find it. Tucked away under a stack of old magazines, a small, leather-bound journal. Sarah's, I hadn't even known she kept one. My heart starts pounding. I hesitate for a second, a weird mix of guilt and morbid curiosity churning in my stomach. Then I open it. The first few entries are mundane work stuff, complaints about her boss, grocery lists. But then the entries start to change, they get darker, and they're all about me. Ethan is so naive, one entry reads. He'll never suspect a thing. He's so blinded by love, he'll sign anything I put in front of him. My blood runs cold. Another entry, his house is perfect, so much potential, just needs a few upgrades. Once we're married, I can finally get rid of that hideous furniture and turn it into the showplace it should be. He'll thank me later. Thank you for stealing my equity. I'm starting to shake. And then the entry that shattered everything. The plan is simple. Get him to add my name to the deed ASAP after the wedding. Then, refinance, using the equity for the business venture with Mark, her brother, who, by the way, has a history of shady business ventures. Ethan's such a sucker for a sob story. He'll never know what hit him. Business venture. This wasn't about a sick mother. This wasn't about a misunderstanding. This was a cold, calculated plan to take everything I'd worked for. I felt this wave of rage wash over me, so intense I thought I was going to be sick. My hands were trembling so violently I could barely hold the journal. I reread the entry over and over, the words burning into my brain. This was it, the final, irrefutable proof. In that moment, everything changed. The guilt, the self-doubt, the fear of what my family would think, it all vanished. I wasn't a victim anymore. I was a survivor. This woman, the woman I thought I loved, had tried to rob me blind, and my own family had sided with her. I slammed the journal shut, the sound echoing in the silent room. My chest felt tight, like a band of steel was constricting my lungs. I paced back and forth, my mind racing. I had to do something. I had to fight. I knew with absolute certainty what I needed to do next. I grabbed my phone and called Maya. I have it, I said, my voice shaking with a mixture of fury and determination. I have the proof. I'm going to expose her. I'm going to expose them all. This wasn't just about my house anymore. This was about my life, and I wasn't going to let her take it. Okay, Reddit, buckle up. This is where the real fun begins. After finding that journal, Sarah's meticulously detailed roadmap to screwing me over, I went into full-on war mode. I knew I couldn't just confront her alone. My family would never believe me. They'd twist it, make me look like the bad guy again. I needed a plan, a damn good one. First, I called Maya. I found it, I practically screamed into the phone. Her journal, it's all there in black and white. Her plan to take my house, everything. Maya, bless her soul, was calm and collected. Okay, Ethan, deep breaths, this is huge. Now we need to make sure it's airtight. She's a lifesaver, that woman. Documentation is key, people. I made copies of every single page of that journal. I mean every single page. I also printed out the bank statements, the withdrawal slip with her forged signature, emails, texts, anything, and everything that even remotely related to Sarah and my finances. I organized it all into a binder, labeled and tabbed. Think Elle Woods in Legally Blonde, but with less pink and more righteous fury. Then I lawyered up. Maya recommended a friend of hers, a shark of a divorce attorney. Even though we weren't married, she said the same principles applied. He was expensive but worth every penny. He looked over everything, confirmed I had a rock-solid case, and advised me on how to handle the confrontation. His advice: hit them with everything you've got, all at once, in front of witnesses. Witnesses, that was the key. I needed people there to see Sarah's true colors. I decided to have a family dinner. Small, intimate. Just Sarah, her parents, who, let's be honest, were probably in on the whole damn scheme, and my mom. I knew confronting them all at once was risky, but I was done playing nice. I was ready to burn it all down. Mentally, I was a wreck. I was terrified, anxious, furious. But I also felt this weird sense of calm, like a quiet before the storm. I knew this was going to be messy, painful, and probably permanently damage some relationships. But I also knew it was the only way to protect myself, to finally reclaim my life. So I practiced. I rehearsed what I was going to say over and over until I knew it by heart. I visualized the scene, their shocked faces, Sarah's inevitable meltdown. I prepared myself for the worst. I steeled myself to lose the fantasy of the perfect relationship, of the happy family I thought I was building. Because the truth was, that fantasy was already gone. It had been shattered by Sarah's greed and my family's willful blindness. This wasn't just about the house anymore. This was about my self-respect. This was about taking back control. This was about showing them all that I wasn't the naive, gullible fool they thought I was. I was ready. Bring on the fireworks. The dining room table, usually a place of laughter and family dinners, was heavy with tension. My mom fussed with the centerpiece, Sarah's parents sat stiffly, sipping their wine, and Sarah, bless her heart, was all smiles. Fake smiles, of course. She kept glancing at the unopened wine bottle I'd brought to the table, a vintage Bordeaux my dad had given me. Special occasion? She'd asked, all innocent. If only she knew. Dinner was awkward. Forced conversation, strained smiles. My mom kept dropping hints about wedding plans, making comments about how excited she was to welcome Sarah into the family. Sarah's parents chimed in, talking about how perfect we were together and how lucky I was to have found such a wonderful girl. I just picked at my food, my stomach churning. The binder sat on the table beside me, a silent, ticking time bomb. The turning point came when Sarah's dad, ever the charmer, cleared his throat and said, "So, Ethan, about the wedding finances. Sarah tells us you've been hesitant to combine your accounts. We understand you've worked hard for your house, but surely you can see that joining finances is a sign of commitment, of trust." He patted my hand condescendingly. Trust. That word made me want to scream. "Actually," I said, my voice steady, surprisingly calm, "there's something I need to share with everyone." I reached for the binder. Sarah's smile faltered. Her parents exchanged a nervous glance. "Ethan, dear," my mom interrupted, "is this really the time? Can't we just enjoy a nice family dinner?" "No, Mom," I said, my voice hardening. "This is exactly the right time." I opened the binder, the crisp copies of Sarah's journal staring up at me. "I think everyone here should see what trust really means to Sarah." I began to read. Slowly, deliberately. I read about Sarah's plan to add her name to the deed, the refinance, the business venture with her shady brother. I read about her disparaging remarks about my naivete and my old-fashioned values. The room was silent, except for the sound of my voice and the rustling of the pages. Sarah's face went white. Her parents' jaws dropped. My mom stared at me, her eyes wide with disbelief. "This," Sarah stammered, "this is taken out of context." "Out of context?" I laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "This is your handwriting, Sarah, these are your words, this is your plan." I slammed the binder shut, the sound echoing in the stunned silence. Then I pulled out the bank documents, the withdrawal slip with her forged signature. "And this," I said, holding it up, "is attempted fraud. This is you, Sarah, trying to steal from me. Trying to steal my house." The power shifted in that moment. The carefully constructed facade Sarah had built around herself, the illusion of the perfect girlfriend, the dutiful daughter-in-law, crumbled into dust. Her eyes darted around the room, panicked. Her parents, who had been so smug and self-assured just moments before, looked like they'd seen a ghost. Sarah burst into tears, the crocodile tears I'd seen so many times before. "Ethan, please, you don't understand, I can explain." "Explain what, Sarah?" I asked, my voice cold, empty. "Explain how you were going to steal my house. Explain how you were going to leave me with nothing." She couldn't. She just kept sobbing, muttering about how I'd misunderstood, and how I was ruining everything. I stood up, my chair scraping against the floor. "It's over, Sarah," I said, my voice shaking with a mixture of anger and relief. "Get out of my house." The silence in the room was thick with shock and disbelief. My mom opened her mouth to speak, but I cut her off. "Not a word, Mom," I said, my voice firm. "You had your chance to believe me. You chose to side with her. Now I'm choosing myself." I turned to Sarah's parents. "Get your daughter out of my house," I said, my voice dangerously low. "And don't ever come back." They left, Sarah stumbling out the door, her parents trailing behind her, their faces a mixture of fury and humiliation. My mom just sat there, stunned into silence. For the first time, I felt a flicker of satisfaction. It was messy, painful, and brutally honest. But it was over. I had won. The house always wins. And you know what, Reddit? It felt damn good. It's been 6 months since that explosive family dinner. The dust has settled somewhat. The immediate aftermath was brutal. Sarah moved out, thank God, but not without a fight. Her parents threatened legal action, but my lawyer shut that down pretty quickly. Turns out, a detailed journal outlining your plan to defraud someone isn't exactly a winning legal strategy. Who knew? The fallout with my family was complicated. My mom eventually apologized, sort of. She admitted she'd been wrong, that she'd let her desire for me to be happy, and for grandchildren, let's be honest, cloud her judgment. We're slowly rebuilding our relationship, but it's still strained. Some of my extended family, the ones who'd been quickest to judge, are still giving me the cold shoulder. They bought Sarah's sob story hook, line, and sinker. Whatever, I'm done caring what they think. The biggest surprise, some of our mutual friends, the ones I thought were firmly in Sarah's camp, actually reached out to apologize. They'd heard whispers, seen some of Sarah's increasingly erratic behavior after the breakup, and started to put the pieces together. It was validating, to say the least. As for me, I'm different. This whole experience has changed me. I'm not the same naive, trusting guy I was 6 months ago. I'm more cautious, more guarded. I've learned the hard way that not everyone has your best interests at heart, even the people you think you know. And that's okay, I'm okay. I've also learned the importance of setting boundaries. I'm no longer afraid to say no, to walk away from situations that feel wrong, to prioritize my own well-being. And you know what? It feels amazing. I'm dating again, casually. I'm taking things slow, being more upfront about what I want and what I don't want. I'm also focusing on myself, my career, my friends. I've started taking woodworking classes, something I've always wanted to do. My house, my sanctuary, has become my haven. I've redecorated, finally getting rid of that hideous furniture Sarah hated so much. It feels mine, truly mine. This whole experience was a nightmare, no doubt, but it also taught me some invaluable lessons. I learned about trust, about betrayal, about the importance of self-preservation. I learned that family isn't always blood. And most importantly, I learned that I'm stronger than I ever thought possible. So Reddit, what about you? Any similar experiences? Any advice for navigating the treacherous waters of family drama and financial manipulation? Let me know. I could use the company.